Hello and welcome to Manifesting Marvel, a new podcast dedicated to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm your co-host Jacob,
I'm your co-host Raga.
and today we're discussing What If, Episode 5, What If Zombies?
Zombies.
I think that's the best way to say it because, Marvel have
Yeah,
done it with a question mark and exclamation mark.
capital letters.
So, yeah, I've got to say,
Yeah.
before we even start talking about this is my favorite What If episode. It
I
might
completely
be
agree with you.
one of my favorite things that Marvel have done. The entire time I was
Yeah.
watching it, I was like, either Marvel have done a really good job at establishing these characters, so I'm super invested in a zombie storyline with them, or Marvel Zombies weirdly works and it's cool. And I'd never thought about like how if heroes got infected, they would have powers. Because it's kind of like a
Yeah.
video game, like Left 4 Dead and all of those kind of games that I used to play like when I was younger, where there would be certain ones that would be like stronger or could jump faster or
Yeah.
do things like that. And it's cool seeing like all the different Avengers and all the different superheroes like be zombies and how it plays out. But another thing is like I just love the group of people that are in this episode. I love how it
Yeah.
plays out. Like the storyline for it is awesome. Like I know me and you near the beginning we joked, well, I thought it was going to be the infectious disease ward from
Yeah.
Cap Civil War, but it was cool that it came from the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'd like to say about that too is note that if it can come from the quantum realm and it's happened in the What If universe, which is considered official canon of the MCU, you can get zombified from being in the quantum realm. And and another interesting thing to think of is Ant-Man Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. There could be some form of infection in that film. Not saying that they would go down a zombie route, but interesting that it's called Quantumania, and that's where it came from. Yeah.
Yeah, we might see some reference on there.
And I loved
Definitely.
Paul Rudd in a jar with,
Oh,
with the flying cape. That's the coolest thing that I've ever seen. But
I mean,
no, for me, it was just insane. The intro was cool. Like it was like, oh, Infinity War and Hulk's back. And it was really interesting because when they first show up, Marvel were really cool and they like blacked out the characters so you couldn't tell if there's anything wrong with them, and then they start eating and you're like, oh my god, this is dark. And I like how they put the Doctor Strange one before this because it's kind of got you ready for like more darkness again.
I think it was really, again, my favorite episode as well, same as you. And I think I was watching in the movie and like in the morning, my eyes were just wide awake of like, what's going on here? I just woke up and got to the TV and just played it. And I was just hooked on from the first scene till that end scene. And the characters in there is amazing. And the powers they use is amazing as well. But one of the things I noticed that quite cool is they use certain things in there, which is quite cool. That I didn't even notice this. Like my fiance just like told me, like, by the way, that's like Train to Busan, because they were in the train and then they were going, which is a zombie movie that you travel through a train to another place, and there's zombies around trains. So it's quite cool to see that, like, they kind of reference some of the iconic movies that are already there around zombies. I don't know what else that, if anyone noticed, but if you have, just put it in a comment or something like that, we'll be able to like see. But it's definitely that's something I noticed, like Train to Busan, and that whole sequel was really cool with what they did.
And what Spider-Man did with How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse, that was so Zombieland kind of like vibes. And that in itself was so cool because whilst I was watching it, I was like, this is exactly what would happen. And Happy's there and you're like, oh my God, Happy's here. And he's voiced by Jon Favreau, which is just amazing too. And like, yeah, it's really cool. And I thought the story was gripping, and I liked how the Avengers show up to stop the outbreak, and which is interesting as in itself because that obviously means they've patched things before Infinity War in this universe. And it was just so cool to hear the Watcher be like, but this ultimately led to their destruction, because they got infected, and then superheroes being infected is a scary idea. Like Doctor Strange being
Yeah.
able to sling ring into your room and just eat you, like
Yeah.
terrifying.
Like, I'm not really sure. Like we've seen this, when the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie came out, we didn't know what was the timeline. I know we just before the Infinity War, or but I didn't know the timeline was. And in this one, it just made a whole lot more sense. It 2 weeks before
Mm.
the Infinity War, and it says like 2 weeks before the Thanos surviving, this will happen because Hank Pym, like he went to the quantum realm, found the wife. So that really cool because that made that movie for me to like actually, I might go back and watch it again.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
just 2 weeks before Infinity War, so that makes more sense, like what they were doing in
yeah,
there. Just gave us another explanation of, guys, by the way, this was what's happening.
yeah.
This is the right timeline.
And
So
it's
that's really
cool.
cool as well.
It's cool as well that it showed you that like the same things can still happen. Like
Yeah,
Thanos is still coming, the Black Order still come, and it's just insane, isn't it? Because it's like, oh no, that isn't good. Everybody's zombies, and these people are still showing up to get
yeah,
the Infinity Stones, kind of thing. But yeah, for me, this was just one of the coolest things. Like even when Bucky showed up in the shower in Spider-Man's little How to Survive the Apocalypse, I wasn't expecting
yeah.
it, and it was
Yeah,
so
I wasn't
cool.
either.
It was so cool to see him like fight zombie Captain America on that train. That was like one of the coolest things, and like I was like,
Yeah,
oh my god, when he was like, I guess it's the end of the line, pal. I was like, no.
yeah. I mean, that his whole body just cuts in half as well, just falls out. It's just, I mean, how they done it, and also I quite like the fact that, like, when the Avengers actually walk through the door to the laboratory or San Francisco somewhere, and the first one get attacked is Captain America, and it's just a little ant man
Yeah,
just biting him. It's just crazy how they use the power, and that just defeats in that scenario.
yeah.
But
Well,
it's really good to see some characters and the way they survive or the way they're working, like Sharon uh in the series as well. So, or well, was living for a while, then she does. But and then um quite like the fact that some of the big characters are actually zombie, like so it's only allowed them. I'm not really sure what happened to War Machine though.
yeah, he has not been getting much love in the What If thing.
Yeah,
I was thinking that he wasn't really there, was he? But
yeah,
we actually got a Peter Parker mention Uncle Ben alongside
yeah,
Tony Stark, which I thought was interesting. And I really liked the quote from that, which was I can't remember what Hope said exactly, but it was something along the lines of like, if we're not smiling and we're here, we might as well not be, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Where it was like
yeah,
kind of smiled through it. And I thought that was good. And I really liked Spider-Man in this. It was like a proper comic book Spider-Man. It was like the
yeah,
one that we've wanted to see. Not that we haven't had that with Tom Holland and the other films and stuff, but like what we've always wanted is like that teenage boy, super naive Spider-Man that's just kind of like just wants to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, doesn't want to get
yeah,
involved with any of that kind of stuff, wants to like chill with Mary Jane, and kind of gets looped into all of the big things. And it was refreshing to see this way because obviously a lot of the characters are voiced by the actual actors, so it kind
yeah,
of makes you feel like it's more real too. And it was just really cool to see like a different version of Spider-Man that hasn't had to take so much of a mantle.
yeah. And also quite like the Spider-Man, the way they, I think the train scene as well. He slingshot shot in the
Mm,
train. It's quite. I think it's go back to the first Spider-Man from the Sonys, isn't it?
mm,
Where he has to kind of stop the train. He's a similar trainer as well,
yeah,
which is quite cool to kind of see that as well. And it's more of a. I feel like Spider-Man kind of figured out how to survive, and that's why everyone is more around him, or the stories kind of goes around him a little bit more
yeah,
than others. And you can see him just he created himself through the webs. He created the whole base in the air between the buildings as well. So that's all more of like he knows how to survive, and the people like, oh, I'll stick with him, even though he's a kid. He knows how to
Yeah.
deal with things, similar to the way in I think Captain America: Civil War, he was coming up with ideas to solve an issue like a giant Ant-Man. He was like, oh, by the way, have you seen this movie? Like Star Wars reference. So he kind of uses those movie trivia to kind of
Yeah, to survive kind of
through a
thing.
solution for like a movie, like a situation, which is quite cool. They kind of kept that going in that
Yeah.
one.
No, I'd agree with you. And then obviously we find out that there's a signal. We don't know where the
Yeah,
signal's coming from, and then they go there and Wasp sacrifices herself, which I thought was pretty sad when she goes big and she like crosses them all and puts them down kind of
yeah,
thing. And then it's kind of weird because you're like, oh my God, the zombies aren't moving. What the hell's going on? And then it's Vision, and it's really refreshing to see Vision again. But I tell you, the second I saw him, I was like, oh no, where is
yeah.
the Scarlet Witch?
Yeah,
Because
I kind of clogged that as soon as I saw that, and I was like, okay, this is going to be something dark in a minute.
And then Vision unveils that he's got Ant-Man in a jar, which is just the most
Yeah,
funniest thing ever. And Paul Rudd's like voice acting in this is superb. Like he's
yeah,
really good in that episode. Like I enjoyed everybody, but I felt like Mark
Paul Rudd.
Ruffalo was a little bit awkward as well. The guy that was
Yeah,
playing Hulk, it didn't quite fit the animation, but Paul Rudd was just insanely funny, like all of his jokes and
yeah,
everything. But then as soon as Bucky was like, I'm going to go and check for survivors, and Vision's like, you will not find what you are searching for, Mr. Barnes. I was like, oh no, it's about to go down.
yeah.
What's he going to find? And then he's like walking around and he finds Black Panther, and you see Scarlet Witch just like in the
Who's the
shadows.
other zombie was in the room? There
Scarlet
was a black
Witch.
pan.
It's
Yeah, but
Scarlet Witch
she
because he
was.
shoots, doesn't he? And it like hits off the container that she's
Oh
in,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and she starts glowing red as he walks off. And you're
yeah,
like, oh no. And I gotta say, when she shows up, mate, just the music and everything's great. Like hearing Vision go,
yeah,
oh no, you've awoken her and she's not eaten for days. It's like, this is
yeah,
terrifying. This is the Scarlet Witch and she's come to eat you. And then like she blows those doors down, doesn't she? And she's like standing there and the music's like, wow, 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 or however it is. And you're like, oh my God, this is so cool. And like, that would be terrifying. Imagine a zombie that
yeah,
could just like almost use the force to like lift you off the ground so you couldn't run, so everyone can just come and eat you.
yeah. That's just. I mean, that thinking Skarlovich as a zombie, that probably the worst thing that is in there.
How
I
did
would,
it
I would,
happen? My
definitely-
question
yeah,
is, how who did that? Because like I feel like she could just do what she did at Westview. Do you know what I mean? And put up
yeah.
a perimeter like Vision and stop the zombies from coming near her. So like,
Uh, probably be when you get to the when the Avengers arrive to stop them.
mm,
Probably the Ant-Man, just very small, just bite her because she couldn't figure it out. Who is he?
okay,
You've probably not seen him. Similar to that. That's why I could assume that he probably ended up with them in the area
right,
because he's
yeah,
the one probably bite her, and then obviously Vision would be like, I'll treat him to see if I could cure him. Then I could just help Scarlet Witch out. So that what he was doing.
yeah.
But it's really, yeah.
And
And then
then
what about the Vision bit when he take his
pulls the
the
stone out.
mind
Yeah,
stone out? It's I mean very similar to Infinity War.
yeah. It's the fourth time he's died now.
Yeah,
They like
four
killing
times.
him. But one thing I will
Yeah,
say, it was cool. It was interesting. I really like Scarlet Witch's and Vision's dynamic. I like seeing them together. I think Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen just do a really good job at playing the characters, and they have really
yeah,
good chemistry. And
yeah,
it was really fun to hear them. Like, I know we don't really get Scarlet Witch because she's a zombie, but it was fun to see Vision kind of like explaining his emotion for her again.
yeah,
And it was just cool to like see that no matter what reality or what universe we branch off into, their storylines very similar, and there were like a lot of things that were very like similar to, like obviously Vision has the stone pulled out the same way that Thanos did, but it's him doing it because he can't cope with killing Wanda. But in our timeline, Wanda has to kill Vision. Yeah. And then another thing that happens too is like she's there looking at Vision when she fades away to dust in Infinity War. And obviously she does this too, but she's a zombie this time. And it was just really, really cool. It was just really cool.
I mean, it's a show that like that scenes where she, even the zombie Wanda, like she could recognize Vision, and then like the love for him or the chemistry, like she kind of kneels down and goes to him when he's on the floor. But did you notice that scene very much when they were running to the hangar to get the ship? Is almost looked like the Civil War scene, like, which is quite cool because I thought about that and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then also Hulk kind of get almost bitten, and then the other Hulk comes out and he just kind of goes on a rampage of getting rid of all the zombies to help them out, which is quite cool as well.
Yeah, no, it is. And that quad jet thing that they get into is the same one that Monica and everybody travels into space in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But no, I'd agree with you. I was going to ask you about this though. So Hulk staying and fighting, he can't get infected because his skin's like impenetrable.
Tough. Yeah.
So the big reveal at the end, zombie Thanos.
Yeah.
How did he get infected?
That's the other question, because remember, I have a theory, because remember when the two of his, what's his name? I can't remember the name now. You know, the start of the episode when.
Oh yeah,
They might have went back.
Yeah.
Children of Talents. They might have went back there because they're zombie now. They might have went back there. They infected them, and then he ended up in Wakanda because he coming for all the stones.
And then what's he doing with those stones? Do you think he's snapping half the universe into zombies so they can eat the other half?
I think he will probably just get rid of half of the zombies because So he could get rid of half of them, so there are more food for them, or turn half of the people into humans so they could hunt them again, and he could just keep going.
Yeah. It's pretty scary. Imagine a zombie with an infinity gauntlet. That's not what you want.
Yeah.
That is not what you want. But no, I think this is my favorite episode. From what my understanding is, they moved it forward one. It was meant to be the week after this, but they've moved it forward one. So it'll be interesting to see why they made that decision. I think it was also kind of cool how these episodes, like the last few, like Captain Carter with that time squid being thing, and the Doctor Strange one last week with like all the souls and everything. Few similarities in Shang-Chi, which anybody listening, we've dropped an extra episode, special one this week, which will be all about reviewing and chatting about the Shang-Chi film. So when you're done listening to this one, go and listen to that one. But yeah, a lot of similarities, and it's cool. It's nice to see.
Maybe it's meant to be, because I think they probably planned it because they would just want to kind of give us a hint or what's going on. But I feel like there's a similarity, quite a lot of similarities in there.
Yeah,
like from what we see so far in this last couple of weeks, actually.
Yeah,
and the movie released till now. But yeah, again, one of the favorite episodes for me. Probably I will rate it this one, and T'Challa as the Star-Lord, Captain Carter, Doctor Strange, and what's the fifth one?
If the Avengers died.
Yeah, what if the Avengers died? Yeah.
Okay, not bad. I'm going zombies first, Doctor Strange second.
Okay. You're looking futuristic now, and because you just like
Captain Carter. What if the Avengers died? Oh no, T'Challa's definitely second. Actually, sorry, I forgot. T'Challa's second. So we'll go zombies, T'Challa, Doctor Strange, Captain Carter. What if the Avengers died for me so far? But I think what have we got left? We've got Party Thor and Guardians of the Multiverse or something.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I missed kind of what happened to Thor in this one because I know like he probably drifting in space. And what about the
Yeah,
rest of the guys like Guardian of the Galaxy and everyone? Like are they survived or are they all dead?
yeah. Who knows? Who
Like,
knows?
yeah.
It will be interesting though to see if Marvel ever do anything with it again in the future because it was so cool. It was just so
I
much
think they
fun.
did say there will be series 2, but I don't think they will do with the same storyline.
Yeah,
But I think they should definitely do as though a sort of
I'd love a
storyline.
live action Marvel zombie film. That'd be insane.
Oh,
It'd be so cool.
mad.
Here's something for you. Do you think now this is going out on a pretty big limb, so it's probably not going to
Yeah.
happen. But do you think that there is a possibility that we might see maybe an X-Men character or a Fantastic Four character show up in this What If series, right? Because do you remember when me and you were talking back in like the Loki one or something when Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
was piping off? I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if they got a classic Wolverine cartoon character to show up in What If and they got Hugh
And
Jackman to
use his
voice him,
voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
be insane.
I totally get you. I totally get you. Because that will be something. Imagine, I could see another connection for it. Hugh Jackman is Australian.
Yeah,
Thor is Chris Hemsworth is
yeah.
Australian.
Can you imagine?
So
It would be
they
so
will
cool.
be kind of collabing in a party tour.
Yeah,
There's gonna be Wolverine and Thor and everyone just partying. I don't know, but it would be really good to see that one happening.
yeah,
Because I think you're probably gonna hate it putting the suit on and the whole thing to actually act in live action. But he could definitely do a cartoon version of him and get him to
exactly.
voice it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Even,
and
even,
he's a really good voice actor as well.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I was thinking about this. I will actually be surprised as well if we don't get a Deadpool at any point. I
yeah,
think it's a missed opportunity. Even if the whole thing finishes and the Watcher's like, "Thank you for coming on this journey with me," and then Deadpool's like, "Hey, big guy," he's like, "You shut the door, I can't
yeah,
get out," or something like that. And he's like, "How did you get
yeah,
in here?" And then it just finishes, but it's just Ryan Reynolds for a second. It'd just be funny because we know they exist. We've even seen
yeah,
videos of Deadpool and Korg like being in the same room. So
yeah.
the universes are together now. So it'd be cool to get something like that. But yeah.
It will be. I think I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes to see what they kind of have
Mm.
in. I think maybe the final episode might have some hints for us because the other two that are coming up after this is Hulk. Is it Hawkeye?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think.
Hawkeye, She-Hulk, and Miss Marvel.
Yeah, so I don't think they're gonna have much opportunity to kind of put any sort of multiversal stuff into them.
Mm.
They could, but I don't think that's where they should do that. I think if they're gonna do anything next episode or episode after.
I've just had a light bulb go off in my head.
Go on.
Bit random, so I'm just gonna say it just in case it happens. Maybe the Ten Rings are an Eternals artifact, and that will get referenced in the Eternals film that comes out next month.
That could be
Maybe
it.
one of them made it and then they lost it. And there's a scene in the film where they lose it, and someone's like, "You idiot!" And they're like, "Don't worry, it won't do anything." And then it's shown that it's completely altered history for humanity, or
It
something
could
like
be.
that. Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, when he's joking, when he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, is this a vibranium table?" and he hits it, like something like that, being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, don't worry about it. It shouldn't do anything," and then it like completely alters like that
That
one
could be it.
thing. So maybe something like that could happen.
Yeah.
But
We were discussing. We were just recording our Shang-Chi movie just before this. That's why it just popped up. But yeah,
yeah,
it's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it as well. Like, what if the Eternals were get reference on that one, or we will see something like that?
Mm,
We're gonna have to look carefully for it because I don't think they will release the Secret of Ten Rings anytime soon.
yeah.
Because I think it might play a huge part in it. If it played a huge part in Phase 4, defeating the villain or something like that, that is a massive win for Marvel because they bring that concept in 2008 with the Iron Man,
Yeah. No, it's very
and like,
cool.
yeah, that would be very cool. I think they probably aim to do that. or hopefully they'll do that. But yeah, this episode for What If Zombies are probably one of my favorite. I think they did really well,
Yeah.
like with the characters and the people that are involved in it. Can't complain.
No, I agree. I think it's one of the best. So we'll finish this episode there. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. And if we missed anything or we didn't mention your favorite part, let us know down in the comments section below. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere else that you listen to your podcasts, make sure you subscribe or follow us so our episodes show up in your library when they come out. And keep an eye out for a bonus episode on our Shang-Chi review/discussion. And yeah, guys, we will catch you next week for episode 6 of What If. Oh, and you can follow us on social media at Manifesting Marvel.